fix the real problem, not a made up one. Some wisdom already shared by Dave from Distribind. Welcome to the session, Dave. How are you?
Hi, Amit. Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Thank you very much for giving up some of your time for this session.
It's a pleasure.
So let's go straight into it, Dave. Tell us a bit about your business and the kind of service you provide.
So, Distribind is curing the insurance industry of its spreadsheet addiction. And what we mean by that is insurers, brokers, their agents, when they have to, share data about policies that have been sold, premium that's going to be paid, claims that are out there. The vast majority, something like 95% of that data is shared via spreadsheets. Typically, the end of the month, they gather everything up, might be hundreds of rows, thousands of rows, email it across. And Distribind allows them to eliminate that altogether if possible. So we can take data real-time API at a transactional level, give a lot of information. If it's spreadsheets has to stay, we at least eliminate all of the manual manipulation to create or receive that data. We just process it, validate it, make sure the right data is there, it's the right kind of business, and give a lot of detailed MI around that as well.
Amazing. And it sounds like a real niche problem you're solving for a specific industry. Now, one bit of gem you already shared is, I mean, one of the things that have really driven your success is that you fixed a real problem. Now, plenty of business owners are listening in thinking, right, what can I create a business in? Or how can I expand my business? And maybe they may go and sell a solution that looks sexy, fancy, etc. But you said, let's go for the problem first. Tell us a bit more about, how can entrepreneurs go about finding a real problem in the first place?
I can only speak for myself, and this was a problem I had real first-hand experience of. So my whole career has been spent in the insurance industry and
Hmm.
split between like the business side of the industry. So being an underwriting technician, a claims technician, dealing with these spreadsheets, having to, you know, problems of reconciliation, has it even arrived? Is the right stuff in there? And then later became more on the technology side in kind of functional design and innovation. So it's kind of the two halves of the career have been merged together.
Right.
And I don't know if that makes me maybe an outlier or makes me a great person to answer this, but I can only say that from my personal experience, it is like having that real insight to the problem. It helps like it helps you during the tough times that you're on the right track, you're
Mm,
doing the right thing. You're like, if I'd had this 5 years ago, if I'd had this 10 years ago, would it, like, is it doing what I
yeah.
needed? It
So
would
what I'm
it have
actually
helped me?
exactly, and what you're sharing is really valuable because what I'm actually hearing as you're saying this is that you are really alert and aware of what it is that you are doing and not just kind of beavering away. You kind of looked at what is it you were doing. You noticed the problems in the processes that you're working in, and you thought, wouldn't it be a great idea to create a business to solve this particular problem rather than it just, kind of dwindling on kind of thing. So I think a lesson for business owners is to really be aware of what's going on, what's a problem, and is it worth a business idea, isn't it?
That completely. I mean, I guess that question of why are we here? What are we
Mm,
doing? You know, that's the bit that drives you, and particularly in the early days when it might just be you or you and a couple of others. You're having to kind of really understand what you're doing. And I
mm,
think one of the strengths of our idea when I spoke to people early was I like that you're focused on this one thing. And you mentioned it as niche, and it is niche, and it's actually even niche within insurance. So it's, and that's potentially had some problems as well, particularly
mm.
kind of early fundraising, etc. To, VCs, did they actually get the problem? Did they believe in the size of the market? That kind of stuff. So, but it also gave us two advantages. One, because it's niche, it's like less saturated, less competitive. And two, I was really, really staying in my lane, shall we say. I knew this problem intimately. I'd worked on it from both sides of the fence.
Mm.
And that really helped. And I know that's advice that kind of won't resonate with everyone because particularly if they say younger entrepreneurs, they certainly won't have had the chance to have had 20 years experience in something but before starting a business. But I think even if you're building something like more for the consumer market, if it's a product you wouldn't want or you wouldn't
Mm.
use or you haven't used anything like it, why would you build it? It's
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm coming from, I guess, what I'm trying to say. But
I mean,
you
it
you
makes
need a
absolute
real
sense.
problem.
Need a real problem, and you sound quite passionate about your problem, in that we can't go and sell things that we're not passionate about, because people can see right through you. And you sound like you've been there, done that, worn the t-shirt from both sides of the fence, and as a result, you can probably understand anything that a prospect will bring your way, and you can probably interpret it very well, probably better than how they're interpreting, which is really good. A second thing you mentioned to me before was the power of team, where we kind of touched on the cheesy line: if you want to go far, go alone. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, have a team. And you mentioned that you've hired some really good team members that are really
Yeah,
supporting your journey. Talk to us a bit about, um, what advice you'd give to people who are considering recruiting their first staff member, saying, "Shall I spend the money? Shall I not? Should I do it now? Should I do it wait a year?" What would you say to these people?
um, I mean, you have got to do it at the right time. Like the business has got to be able, to sustain people, and by that, I don't even necessarily just mean like the finances, but I mean even you as a founder, as like you will have to give your early team members a lot of time.
Mm,
And part of that, is actually to make sure that they can then give their time to the next one and the next one and the next one, so you can give proportionately less. And I think that has to, like, it has to be right. You have to be able to support them. I think for me as well, I think the key for us has always been, it's a mistake we've made a couple of times, where we've maybe looked for people with experience, whereas
mm,
actually, particularly for us, because we're doing something quite different, people with experience can also be a little set in their ways. And what we found, that our most successful team members have been the people who came to us with a bit less experience, but were extremely driven and incredibly intelligent. And what they do is, firstly, they have no preconceived ideas, so they are
mm.
able, to look at things a bit more imaginatively. But they learn very quickly. They work very hard. And it has amazed me that, we've been sat in meetings with clients, and their side of the fence was perhaps more experienced than ours, but ours was unquestionably better. And like, I might not want them to know that, but it is, it's absolutely true.
Amazing. So you've got team members potentially better than you at certain elements of the role, which is helping.
Unquestionably, unquestionably. And I think also, if you think, if a number of our team members are kind of in their like early to mid 20s,
Mm,
and they are just so much better than me at that age that it's embarrassing.
fantastic, fantastic. Switching focus to resilience. Now, like all, many business owners who are kind of starting out, some business owners may start out with a idea that's existed before. For example, opening up an accountancy practice or opening up a solicitor's practice in a mechanics garage. These kind of businesses have been there, have done it, have kind of experienced many things, and it's kind of a case of following proven models. You came in with a brand new innovative idea, a solution, and no doubt you face some roller coasters, and roller coasters aren't easy for most business owners. We all face them. I mean, what would be some tips you can share with business owners who are going through a tough time and going through a roller coaster? I mean, what would some tips be that you'd want to share?
it I think the first one, it goes back to the original point of solving a real problem.
Mm,
That, if it there were some tough times. The insurance industry is a conservative one. They don't like being first. They don't like taking a lot of risks.
mhm,
Particularly on new ideas like this. And rightly so as well. We're dealing with client data and stuff. If they don't know for sure that what we do works, it's a huge risk to them, regulatory and everything. But so there was a lot of times where, we thought a sales process was going well, and it stopped when they were like, okay, we're not going to be first if you haven't got an existing client. And wondering where that existing client was going to come from, was the toughest challenge of the first few years.
Hmm.
The fact that we knew, or I knew that this is a real problem. I knew that, I had first-hand experience of it, like I said. I knew that the current way was not sustainable. I knew, and we aren't totally new. There are some what I would call previous generation solutions out there that do tinker around the edges of the spreadsheet. They don't eliminate it like us. But I knew that they aren't sustainable. They're not what the industry needs, what the industry actually really wants. So I knew that eventually we would find that first. And it was just a question of, yeah, just keep plowing through every day. But the fact that I knew it was a real thing that like had to be changed, that was what gave me the resilience. So that's why it goes back to like the very first comment. If it's got to be a real problem, if it's not something you needed when you were
Hmm.
doing the thing or would need now as a consumer, like what do you believe in? What does make you get up the next day? And I think that for me anyway is the real key.
Having real faith in the problem, and like it's a problem that needs fixing, and when it is fixed, it's going to add tremendous value to a
That
business.
and a deluded sense of self-worth. So you're absolutely convinced that you're the person to fix it as well.
Well, I do say that, um, entrepreneurs are borderline crazy. So this is where the craziness can kick in, and I've been there myself, so I completely get where you're coming from. Next question. I mean, challenges. They're all around us, and we can never walk away from them. So looking ahead over the next year or so, barring aside all the external things like political climate and state of the economy and all the kind of stuff we can't directly influence, that's out of our sphere of influence directly. What would you say are the top three challenges for you and your business that you've really got to work
It,
towards? Would you say?
it's growth really. They all come down to growth. That we have to deliver projects. We
Mm,
already have clients who are large global insurers. We have opportunities to increase what we do with those insurers already. And that will have challenges. It's great. It's a great challenge, but it's a challenge, to ensure that we continue to deliver and give them the value that they need and the value that they see. We have very, very large, even larger company like prospects that we're talking to. So, continuing to have success in our sales cycle, deliver those projects, improve our strike rate. I think, one of the things we've seen or are working on at the moment is, as successful as we've been, it's been pretty much reliant on inbound stuff and people coming to us either through my existing network stuff we do on LinkedIn, and we want to turn that around and do a lot more outbound and
mm,
get in front of more people. So that's a challenge. Do we have the skill sets to do that in house? Do we need to make hires or look at other people and how we do that? And we're also kind of actively exploring new markets. So
mm,
the US in particular, which is the largest market for the stuff that we do. We work with one US company at the moment. We have a lot of other US originated business that flows into our system. And one of our insurers, one of our clients' parents' company is is an American company. So we have a few, like the smallest foothold imaginable in the US at the moment, but it's a major kind of strategic objective of ours to grow that.
amazing, amazing. Well, hey, look, they sound like challenges indeed, but they sound like exciting things as well. So no doubt you're
Yeah,
going to be kind of just enjoying the turbulence as you go along in your journey as well. But final round
hopefully.
of questions is just going to be it's a quick fire one. I'm going to be mentioning or saying four words to you. And afterwards, what I'd like you to do is just straight away instinctively answer in one bullet point, in one sentence, or in one word. What's the first thing you can think of? That's it. For example,
Sure.
if I say cat, the first thing you may say is mouse or whatever it is. I've got four words for you. Show us the instinctive reflexes over there. Can be fun, can be whatever you want to be. Ready for it?
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. First word is innovation. What comes through?
Distribind.
Fantastic. Second word is, you love this, data,
Insight.
insight. Next word is education.
Oh, my daughter.
Is she going through some education right now?
She's at school, yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense. And final word, quite topical, USA.
Let's get there.
Let's get there. Dave, you've been fantastic. Thank you very much for
Thank you,
being so
Amit.
abundant and sharing your journey. USA, let's get there. But hopefully our paths cross again in the future as well. It's been so nice speaking to you. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you. No problem. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.